met this chick at the bar.
Yeah?
Oh, dude, she was hot. She was just like, hey,
man,
you just want to
awesome.
pop? And I was like, yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
CIB. Oh. Hey, where'd you earn that CIB at?
The PX?
What?
What? It's not stolen valor. I bought it with my... Oh!
Hey guys. Oh, I was supposed to have a live stream interview yesterday with one of the old guard, and unfortunately he had a family emergency. It was a death in the family. He had to bow out, but he will be on at some point, hopefully in the next few weeks. It will be great to have an interview with him. Just fantastic to have a someone who served in the old guard to just give us his thoughts and his experiences with that. But today, somebody had made a comment and asked me to look into this guy, Herb Minchew. Haven't got his records back yet, but I've made it about an hour into his interview, and holy shit. It's unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. And the worst part about it, his interview was done for the Veterans History through the Library of Congress. I don't know, the person that actually interviewed him said they were a retired Navy. However, if you served a week in the military, you would have known that this guy was spinning some tales. And I'm not going to call him straight out a liar, but I'll let you guys decide, and we'll have to wait until I get the records back. I've only made it the first hour of this, and I've been writing down notes. I've got like 4 pages of notes that are just driving me. I was ready to punch my computer screen after the first 20 minutes. And I sent him some info to Wally, and Wally managed to get me what I needed. And I'll be dropping that FOIA request because I can't wait to get his actual military records. And I'm just going to go over a little bit of this. Actually, like within the first 5 or 6 minutes, I'll back it up and we'll play like first 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll talk a little bit about it. Because you could tell in like the first 5 or 6 minutes that this guy is really spinning a tale. Which is nuts. Hey, and let me know. I've changed streaming services. I've gone to Restream. Man, the other one was out of control. They wanted like $35 a week just for live streaming services. And I've gone to Restream, and I bought a year subscription. I may upgrade it, but much, much cheaper. And for no more than I do live streams. Yeah. So plus I can have all the chats pop up right in the main screen, so I won't miss out on anything. But yeah, hey to everybody that's here. Man, a lot of people. Everybody must be bored on a Sunday afternoon. I know Shiz has got something coming up at 4:30. I should be pretty much over it by then. Flying Turd, Mrs. Metcal Double D. Great Grams or Great Gams, Finkel, Mr. Carey, welcome. I'm doing a roll call. I sound like fucking Kaiser. It's horrible. $2 boy. Oh, what's the latest on everyone's favorite impersonator, DeWitt? Yeah, the only bad thing about him going to jail for as long as he is, we don't have any new content. I really miss that. You know, we liked it when he'd go to jail for a couple of weeks, then he'd get out, we'd get more content, then they'd lock him back up again. It was always pretty funny for that. But let me change the layout here. Let me minimize myself down here, and let me know if the audio is good on this or if I need to turn it up.
Good afternoon. Today is March the 10th, 2015, and we are filming from the main office of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. Brian Powers is on the camera. I am Jim Griever, U.S. Navy retired, and our guest today is Herb L. Minchew, United States Marine Corps. And we'll begin by saying, Herb, why don't you describe the mood of the country as it existed in June of 1968 when you first heard from the Selective Service Board about...
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, this first little intro portion. There's a humming noise. Are you hearing any audio? That's the question. Anybody? Humming noise. It might just be I got the volume up too loud, maybe. I listened to this video and it's kind of a shit video, to be truthful. I don't know if I can change the size. Let me get this up here a little bit bigger. Like I said, new streaming. You can hear, if you can hear the interview, we'll go with it.
your obligation to go into the service.
And I'm going to jump ahead. I made a whole bunch of notes.
The news was making a big deal out of it.
So before we,
Accounts.
so if you go to the Library of Congress and look at the interview there, it's got Herb L. Minchew, 1968 to 75 Vietnam, E5. Under his awards, these were his awards. First engineer. Never heard of a first engineer as an award. A B-24 bomber. Well, that's a freaking airplane. I don't know why it's on there. So he says he's got 2 Navy Crosses, a Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars, 3 Purple Hearts. This guy could be Kaiser's big brother. And he served in Cambodia and Vietnam. Nobody officially served in Cambodia. He may have been in well, I'm not even saying this guy. I don't even know yet. He may not have even been in the military. It's obvious that they did zero vetting on this guy whatsoever. So let's jump ahead to around the 5:15 mark here. We'll go here. Now, just listen to what he says about the weapons and, wait a minute, it was 440 where he talks about. We'll go to 430 and let it play for a little bit. Yeah.
Machine guns. Break them down, put them back together.
Well, wait a minute.
You can do it in the dark. There's approximately 3,000 people there that week.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they was pushing them through. Yeah. I see 2 lines lined up going somewhere, always. Somewhere, you always walking somewhere. After my exam and everything, we farmed up thinking we were going to go home. Well, I didn't go home. They said count 1 through 5, and if you said 5, step forward. Well, I said 5, I stepped forward. He says, all right, turn left, go through the yellow door. On the other side of the other door, guy there in the Marine uniform, he was the captain. He said, welcome to the Marine Corps. Raise your right hand, swore us in. That's what happened. Then we was on a bus, 12 hours later, we was up Paris Island. At midnight that night, we was farming up, getting our first shots. Got volunteer draft. I can do 22 different weapons that way in the dark. But I did my 16 weeks. Farmed up. My last week, did a 7-minute mile. Passed all the orientations to be, recon. Got shipped to Camp Pendleton after boot camp. Done AIT, individual training. I was in light weapons up to the 60 caliber.
So he mentions recon. He was going to go recon. He passed the 7-minute mile to go recon. And then he's got a 60 caliber machine gun. Must have been something different in Vietnam that most of us aren't used to. And then he goes on.
Machine guns, break them down, put them back together, Can do it in the dark. I can do 22 different weapons that way in the dark. That's what we was taught, do it in the dark.
Now, tell us about what Force Recon was.
Recon was long range. We were called lopes.
Lopes?
Yep, lope.
The fuck is a lopes? Maybe an interloper, but he wasn't a lopes. I don't even know what a lopes is. As a matter of fact, if you Google it, I don't know.
L-U-P-P, lopes. We was out anywhere from 3 to 6 to 8 weeks at a time. My first tour over, I was a tunnel rat. Got volunteer draft staff. There was 8 of us all total, 7 others out of my company. So we were small guys.
All right, tunnel rat. That's the next claim. But then it gets a little convoluted. Not that it already isn't. He got blown up and they had 1,000-pound fishing line tied to him. And his partner, who was also his spotter because he was a sniper, pulled him out of the tunnel by that 1,000-pound fishing line. And his partner was 6'9", 290 pounds or whatever, but he tells you all about that. And that's because somebody threw a grenade in there and blew the tunnel up. El Jefe will love to hear this one. Let's find this one. And like I said, this has been, I've only made it an hour through this hour and 49-minute mess. Yeah, I've heard of LERPs, but not a LOPES. I don't know what a LOPES is. Let's go to 726. We'll go here. Listen to how he made E5. El Jefe will love to hear this.
And at that time, you were in
E5.
Thank you.
I got up to E5 within my first year. It was field commission. Field promotion.
Got a field promotion in his first year to Sergeant E5. Okay, but he said it was a commission first, which an E5 is a sergeant, a non-commissioned officer, not a commissioned officer. And we'll let it play for a couple of minutes because you guys tell me if I'm barking up the wrong tree by requesting his records. You guys tell me.
That was common back then. Hell, we didn't have enough sergeants. We'd lose them left and right. Officers didn't make it. How can I say? They didn't show up. Or if they did show up, we'd send them home.
Yeah.
They sent their officers home.
They were more dangerous to us than our enemy. They put us in positions that was uncalled for. they tried to make a name, I guess, a rank.
These are the first and second lieutenants and captains.
Yeah.
Marine Corps?
They
or
sent them
Army
home.
or
Oh,
Navy?
it didn't matter. They was only there for, promotions, most of them. The ones that really stuck out were what we call the Mustangers. The majors that was been there for 20 years, in the Marine Corps or Army. They the ones that knew more about anything. So we kind of listened. And I was lucky I had a Mustang major as a commander of my second tour. And
Well, your first tour lasted how long?
9 months until I got wounded.
Until when?
Until I got wounded and shipped home. I got my kneecap, because
Listen closely.
we were on Hill 86. I was filling tunnels. And we got, like I said, 184 Marines walked up on that hill, Hill 86, and got wiped out. 12 Marines.
Look up the Battle of Hill 86, Vietnam. He got there in 68. The Battle of Hill 86 took place in 1966. It was 327th out of Fort Campbell, Screaming Eagles. They were in the Battle of Hill 86. There were no Marines there. But yet, they got wiped out on Hill 86 in 68. Math is not their strong point. None of these guys.
Marines walk off. The rest of them were toted off. There was some other people, Army and a couple of Navy guys, pilots, helicopter pilots that was rescued. Our total of something like 600 people. There was less than 50 left.
600 to 50. Was there another name for Hill 86?
No, sir. Not that I know of.
Okay. Where was that? Vietnam?
Vietnam, yes, sir.
Okay.
Just below the mountains. And
So, yeah, he talks about Hill 86. He got wounded. His kneecap got flopped over. He's also going to say that's where he got his first Navy Cross, on Hill 86. And then the story just gets crazier and crazier about that battle.
Delta area.
Delta area. I see.
About 160 miles north of Saigon.
Okay.
What we ran into was North Vietnam regulars off the Minchew. These are fully supplied units, and we were caught with our pants down. The 175s and 75s and 125s were going off, constantly. And like I said, I earned my down first.
I thought I wrote that down. He talks about the 125s. Yeah, I did write it down. 125s and 175s were going off in the ammo dump, which was next to the fuel dump. None of the military has that. We've got 120s and we've got 155s. So, and those are artillery rounds. Never had anything other than that, but they were going off, and the helicopter crew crashed into the fuel dump area, and he saved the helicopter crew. That's how he got his first Navy Cross, which, if that actually happened, it would be a very good situation for someone to receive the Navy Cross, second highest valor award.
Navy Cross there. We had a helicopter get hit, land in the ammo dumps and the fuel dumps, and everything started going off. I mean, 175s, 125s, rounds going off, oil barrels, diesel barrels, everything's on fire.
Yeah, exactly, Chuck.
We dug out something like 26 people. A couple of lieutenants and captains out of the helicopters. That's where I got my cross, because of them.
Because you saved their lives.
Yes, sir. I watched my buddy die. That was the last day I was there. I mean, I remember. Tommy, I grew up with him. We went into the buddy system, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, because you previously said you were drafted, and then you said you went in on the buddy system, but kind of with your buddy Tommy. And buddy Tommy got his head cut off by an enemy with a machete. We're getting to that. We're pretty close to that.
We were just friends in high school, not real friends, but we were acquaintances in high school, so we kind of bumped up together. And that day, we got overrun. And all I could do was shoot. I watched him die. He got his head cut off. Guy walked in with a machete, walked up behind him, one of the Vietnamese. We didn't know who was wearing.
So there you have it. Now, remember, he said he was wounded. His kneecap got flopped off or was laid over, or whatever the hell he said. Let's move ahead. There's so much and so much of a compressed time. The story, it's crazy. And again, the Veterans History Program, and this guy's. I wanted to punch my screen. I was getting so pissed off just listening to this shit. I'm not calling him a phony yet because I don't have his records. However, I want you guys to watch this and you guys tell me what you think and what I'm actually going to get back from MPRC with his records. Let's go ahead to, it's really hard too. It's a long video. Let's go to here. He talks about his recovery for the kneecap being sliced off.
Out of there, walking, 4 weeks later.
4 weeks.
Dead spots. Addiction.
Oh, wait a minute. This is even good too. We'll go to here.
When was the Navy Cross presented to you? What were the circumstances?
I was in Walter Reed Hospital, and
Oh, you were back in the United States then?
back in the United States, my first time in 9 months.
They flew you back
Airback.
on a stretcher?
Yeah, Sarge, I got you. Russian ordnance. We wouldn't have it.
Yeah, it was laid over. And I got hit the third day. And we were pinned down for 29 total. Like I said, I developed a morphine addiction because the medic said, I ain't got enough time to take care of you because he was so damn busy. Well, there was 8 of them, so he was taking care of everybody, so we had a lot of wounded. Okay. All he did with mine was lay back, close it up, tape it up, anesthetic, and shot me full of morphine. He said, he owns a box of them. It was 24 at once, what we call one hitters. You break it, punch it, and punch, squeeze it, and just shoot straight in. I had 24 of them.
So you received the Navy Cross and the Purple Heart for the same action?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Rick.
And then back in Walter Reed, what was your recovery time?
I was out of there walking 4 weeks later.
4 weeks.
Anybody who has even had so much as an arthroscope repair on their knee, he's up and walking in 4 weeks after his kneecap was knocked off and they flopped it back on, taped it up. And he got injured in day 3 and they were there 27 days. So he went without any serious medical care on that knee. It's kind of like a broken tibia for 3 weeks. Yeah, I think they went to Bethesda as well. Yes, Smudge, it would be in public record, and there are several different databases that talk about, or several different publicly available databases that have the top awards, the crosses, the silver stars, and his name is nowhere to be found on any of them. He goes by Herb. His name is Herbert. Anyway, I'll have his records however long it takes NPRC to reply, because I use snail mail with them. We'll see if I can get something back. I was going to start using HRC, but they drag their feet so much. And HRC would only be a good choice now with the digital records. Back then, NPRC is the way to go. But yeah, 4 weeks, he was up and walking.
I was
How'd they
back
treat
on
you?
duty in Albany, Georgia, 6 weeks after I hit stateside.
So 6 weeks from the time he hit stateside, went to Walter Reed, he was back on duty in 6 weeks. Okay.
Done rehab.
6 weeks.
And they sent me down to Georgia so I could be close to home. I went home every night. That's one of the privileges I had. I got to go home. I drive that hour. Okay. I show up for a roll call, and they turned me loose, and I could be on. I was on my own for. Out of that, I volunteered for overseas. I volunteered the second tour and third tour to Vietnam.
So now you were in home in Georgia recovering from your knee, and then how did you transition back into?
I volunteered.
So he volunteered for a second tour.
Me and Harry both. We couldn't make it stateside because we didn't want to cut our hair. We didn't want to dress.
You weren't dressed and drill.
All right, so now we're going to jump to about a minute, a little bit less than a minute ahead.
Done. Went down to. They transferred me from.
Now this is a Marine.
To Fort Benning.
They transferred him to Fort Benning.
8 months there training, got my training for guerrilla warfare and a sniper.
At Benning.
He transferred as a Marine from Walter Reed to Fort Benning for guerrilla warfare training and sniper training for 8 months. Wait a minute.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
What is? Oh, it's a bitch! Ah!
Really? Yeah, same with me, Sarge. I didn't serve in Vietnam either. This guy was, I believe, born in 51. Wow, this story, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. So he goes to Benning, goes through all that. Let's see. Oh, this is some good shit here. Let's see. Oh, sorry about that.
British Brainy.
Oh,
So he stole a British Brady 50 cal for a sniper rifle.
Out for a long range. For a
50
mile and a
caliber.
half. 50 caliber. They had the best belt built.
That was in 1969 or
70, 71.
71.
Yeah. I went back my second tour.
Second tour, 70, 71.
Because I trained for 1970 in Fort Benning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got there in 71. I think I got there in February.
Friendly.
Yeah,
FRI.
Firebase friendly, he talks about.
It was our
So if you look anything up on the Vietnam War, there's a list of all the American fire bases that were in Vietnam. Yeah. There is no Firebase friendly. That's, I don't know where he got that from. I would guess that this guy has watched every Vietnam movie that's ever been made, to come up with all these stories. But I'm not calling him a phony yet. Like I said, I don't have his records. The part that pisses me off is that these guys do an almost 2-hour interview with this ass clown, post it, and no vetting whatsoever. None. No vetting. Let me see here. We'll go to here. He talks about what the weapon he carried in the tunnels. This is straight from the horse's mouth. We'll play it.
No joke, he towed a double barrel shotgun, 12 gauge. Shotgun was the best weapon over there for close range, as far as I'm concerned. In the tunnels, I towed a 410 shotgun pistol.
A what?
A 410 shotgun pistol.
410 shotgun pistol.
Wider spread, easier to hit something. Like I said, I sent home for it. I asked my dad to send a snake gun.
So he had his dad send him a 410 shotgun pistol to use in the tunnels. With how much ammo do you think Dad's going to be able to send through the mail to him? And I don't know what to say. I really don't. He talks about so much shit. I'm just going to go over my notes because if I watch much more of this video, I'm going to throw up. And I don't want to go over because I know Shiz is going to be going live around 4:30. So I don't want to drag into that. But I just wanted to get everybody's appetite up for this guy. Talks about going into Laos, Cambodia. He talks about his E5 pay. Now, he said E5 pay back then was $168 a month, when in fact it was actually, when I looked it up, $226.20 to $324.90. That was, and that depended on the amount of years you had been in. However, if you take from 1968, if you take E2 pay and add the $55 hazardous duty pay, it comes up to $168. So we'll have to wait and see what his records actually say. Then around the 36-minute mark, he talks about him and all of his buddies. They all got dishonorable discharges. On his second tour, he received a Silver Star. And he says he just got that for doing his job. And they had a 16-year-old Marine that when they found out how old he was, they used to hide him so he wouldn't go out on missions. Then let's see. Around the 40-minute mark, second tour, he got caught for black marketing and narcotics. Court martial. He went to prison in Germany and then was transferred to the Atlanta Federal Prison and was there for 6 months and then went to Leavenworth. And at Leavenworth, there were two guys in suits that came in to see him wearing black ties. This is around the 48-minute mark. And they asked him if he wanted to get out, and he said yes. He signed a paper. Then they sent him to Arizona for training, and he was there for I forget how long he said. It's hard to listen to. I've had to break this up in parts because it's really a lot of horse shit. And said he was going back over and going to Cambodia. And then he said something that kind of, I know I wrote it down. He said like 1976 or 1977 in Cambodia. He says, you remember General Po, don't you? Yeah, we went to Cambodia and killed him in 76 or 77. And that's where I stopped. I couldn't listen anymore. I was losing my shit. Yeah, Smudge, it's and I cannot believe that they did not vet this guy. That's what really gets me. They did absolutely no vetting whatsoever. If you look up Herb Minchew in Google, you'll be able to see where the video is listed at the Library of Congress or the National Library. And yeah. I mean, the original was done a while ago, but somebody asked me to look into this guy because they didn't see a whole lot other than the comments. The comments on here are pretty good. Let's see. Let's get to the comments. Where'd the comments go? There they are. So the people in the comments kind of busted him out pretty quick. Steel and Valor, like gangbusters, might want to check his DD-214. Didn't know Marines were ever in Cambodia. The interviewer is very naive. I believe that. Third Company. Yeah, he talks about his unit. He was in 3rd Division, 3rd Company, 4th Platoon. They were the recon for the company. None of the stuff made any sense. Just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, records request is out, but I wanted to get this out there. Just a little primer for what's to come. And I also wanted to try out, I'm using Restream now. I wanted to give that a shot and see how that worked. And it seems to work pretty well. So, with that being said, I know this is a short one, but like I said, Shiz is coming up in a bit. I'm just looking at some of the different, there we go. So Shiz will be up around 4:30. Give you guys time to think about this. Leave a comment what you think about his story thus far. I'll post a link in the description. You can go ahead and watch the video if you care to. You may want to self-medicate before you do. Maybe take a shot or whatever. And let me know what your thoughts are about his military career story. And with that, hey, if you're in the Northeast, you're going to be getting some snow. I know I am. Be prepared.